Good morning. Our topic is the origin of human language and how neuroscience, physiology, archaeology, and paleontology can provide essential evidence of how and why language evolved and became what it is today.
Language plays a significant part in who we are as humans. Its origin is still one of the largest unknown mysteries in the history. While we don't know the exact date when the human language emerged, we have fossils and evidence provided by genes and artifacts founded by archaeologists. Modern humans, or Homo sapiens, were first seen in Africa around 200,000 years ago. These Homo sapiens had physical features that are very similar to our own.
Homo sapiens have the same capacity to talk and learn as we do. From this, we can conclude that communication and learning were possible, therefore, such a phenomenon occurred relatively early. As a result, many scholars conclude that this was brought about by Homo sapiens and solidified the species' ability to survive and thrive.
Ancient humans' symbolic conduct is the most compelling indication of early language ability. Early Homo sapiens were capable of complex and symbolic thought, as evidenced by engraving on red ochre discovered by archaeological sites. These 150,000-year-old artifacts imply that these people could discover and understand meaning outside of their immediate physical environment. While language requires the association of sounds or symbols with particular thoughts or concepts, this symbolic thought is an essential precondition. Such objects are evidence of a mind that can form intricate relationships language requires.
Around 40,000 years ago, the Neanderthals went extinct. This was a time of cultural growth and expansion, now that we don't have a significant resource competitor. The archaeological record reveals that around 40,000 years ago, art and other cultural artifacts flourished at modern human sites, leading some archaeologists to suggest that a late genetic change in our lineage gave rise to language at this later time. Some museum exhibits and archaeological discoveries prove this. One example is Thorin's remains. He was a male Neanderthal skeleton found in Grotte Mandarin, a rock shelter in the Rhone Valley, France. The remains include 31 teeth, part of the jaw, and 5 finger bones. There was also radiocarbon dates, also known as carbon-14, which revealed that the last Neanderthals lived around 40,000 years ago. By analyzing the carbon-14 content in their bones, this improved methods allowing scientists to extract specific amino acids from the bone. This can be helpful for more accurate dating. This indicates a time frame in which Neanderthals and modern humans likely coexisted in Europe.
Even though there is a lot of evidence that most languages originate from European locations like France, Spain, and Germany, it is essential to consider that spoken language likely developed earlier in Africa with Homo sapiens before spreading globally. European findings, with the help of other countries, contribute to our understanding of how language evolved in the tandem culture and symbolic practices. Linguists believe all modern language can trace their roots to a common ancestor, Proto-Indo-European. This proto-language is thought to have originated from Central Europe around 7500 BC and can spread throughout Europe, Asia, and India as people migrated or traded with each other. Human migration to Africa from different parts of the world began 70,000 years ago. It would be hard to explain how language spread so fast in all the human populations, many of which were already geographically isolated if it developed 40,000 years ago.
Some significant distinctions that make Homo sapiens, and not Neanderthals are drastic. For instance, where Homo sapiens had art and music, there are few finds that Neanderthals operated on the same level. Art and music is symbolic cognition that was not present. If they had clothing, it was animal pelts draped over their bodies. While some current populations have 1 to 5% of their DNA, scientists state that Neanderthals fail to thrive because they do not have the social and communicative advantages that we, Homo sapiens, possess. The most fascinating thing that I've learned about humans and language is that it's universal and has become universal over time.
One of the most prominent discoveries from the study in the origin of language would be the FOXP2 gene. This gene, shared by modern humans and Neanderthals, is associated with the fine motor control of facial muscles, which is critical for speech production. This significance FOXP2 gene in communication was demonstrated by experiments in which mice were given the human version of the protein, which resulted in modifications in their utterances. The FOXP2 gene's basic sequencing is the same in humans and Neanderthals, but modern humans have distinct regulatory alterations that affect the gene's brain expression. These variations probably improved our ancestors' ability to generate and comprehend complicated speech. So looking here, the basic function is, proper development of speech and language to the brain. After mutations, it reduced speech, major heart and lung development issues.
All humans have the same anatomical, physiological, and neurological capabilities to formulate language. For example, scientists know that humans in Africa have clicking sounds as part of their language and that other linguistic populations can learn if it is exposed to them while they're young. This means at one point in our ancestry, we all had the same ability to communicate and is such a necessary part of being human that we are all biologically connected through it.
To wrap up, early indications of language's existence come from symbolic activities, which date back to more than 150,000 years ago, to the early Homo sapiens in Africa, according to fossil and genetic data. The 40,000-year-old finding illustrates how language can change society by fostering the creation of advanced instruments, music, and art, despite the distinction between Neanderthals and modern humans. The development of language seems to have been an occurrence that brought all people together via a standard means of communication. Our speaking ability distinguishes us from other animals and is the cornerstone of today's sophisticated society.